What is happening, everybody? My name is Beth, and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. Now, today's review is a good one. It's a very good one. So I think this review is it's like the highest thing that I've reviewed on the channel yet. And as you can tell by the title, it's the new series on Netflix called Dahmer Monster: The Jeffrey Dahmer Story. This series has such a big buzz around it. I'm sure everyone has probably heard of it because of how crazy this guy was and what this guy did to people. It was pretty insane. And yeah, I'm gonna give my thoughts, give my review on it. I finished watching it last night, and I think it was so crazy, so well done. But yeah, this isn't necessarily strictly horror, but it definitely has horror elements and is quite frightening. What Jeffrey did. So, we're gonna talk about it and we're gonna get straight into it. From what I've heard before I watched it, people were saying that this was really sick and it was disgusting, and watch it with caution, and people are just so grossed out by what they were seeing, and some people can't finish it. Like I've said in previous reviews, I tend to take what people think with a grain of salt because people have different tolerances for what they watch. So it did make me intrigued. I think the fact that Evan Peters is in it, a lot of the fans from obviously American Horror Story have come over and they're like, I want to see him in something else. And he's such an incredible actor anyway, so I know a lot of popularity grew from the fact that he was in this. And then obviously it was also created by Ryan Murphy, one of the creators of American Horror Story. So there was a lot of buzz around this before it came out. And it's one of the most popular Netflix shows that's ever been brought out. I think it's like top 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong with the figures. It's definitely in the top 5, like most viewed Netflix shows. So my thoughts. All I'm gonna say is this Jeffrey guy has had some fucking issues. Let's be honest. What he did was crazy. Was just insane. Um, I think the show does a really good job of like showing how it affected so many different people. Like it wasn't just from the eyes of the killer, it was from the eyes of the victims, of the police, people that were around him during the time. I think it does a really good job of like having each episode focus on people's perspectives and people's experience with him. Um and I really like how they did that. I think it's such a strong documentary. I think the acting is brilliant from every single character. Not one, like every single character in this did an amazing job, especially considering of like how heavy this show is and what it's about. Um, I think like the cinematography, I think the sort of location choices, all of that, I think was chosen so well. I think the music choices were really good. They had that like eeriness to it. I did notice throughout the show they use a lot of the repeated sort of sounds and soundtracks, especially like the whale noises. That whale noise is like so chilling when you hear it. Like if I was to just hear it now, I'd immediately think back to the documentary and be like, that's weird. Like everything was so spot on with it. They did a really good job of telling this guy's story. This obviously isn't for everyone. It's really, really messed up what obviously Jeffrey Dahmer did. And I don't know if for those of you who have seen it, if you've actually looked at the original sort of interview with the real Jeffrey Dahmer, all I'm gonna say is Evan Peters plays him so spot on. Obviously, we only get a glimpse of what this guy was really like, but from his interview, Evan plays him so similar. They look very similar. It really brings to light how real it is and how just spot on Evan does with the character. You can tell he put a lot of work, research, time, effort into like developing him and the character to show this like believable guy and what he was doing. So I think I can definitely understand why there's people out there that couldn't finish it. I also really like, you know, how they, obviously this was set in like the 1970s, 80s, so they had to obviously, you know, transform the world that they were filming in to be, you know, set during this time period. So like the costume, the sets, the, you know, the set design, just the cars, the everything is obviously based during the 1970s to 80s, and I think that's done and executed so well. It brings you into this world of what sort of life was like back then, and how it was for like the gay community, and how it was sort of how things were with police officers and race and things like that, you know. And like that's what I'm saying. I think like as much as people are like, this is so messed up and I don't want to watch it, like, it's, for me it was educational, it was interesting to see the sort of world. There's so many good things about this show. I'm kind of sad that it's over because I really wanted to see more of Evan in this role. I really did. um like I said, I think it was done so well, and you know, him and, you know, Richard Jenkins, Molly Ringwald, they all did so well as well. Like Richard Jenkins as Jeff's dad, I think the chemistry between the two, that like that worked so well. And you know, it, I think also seeing Jeff's dad and the sort of journey that he goes on, I think that was interesting to see as well. You know, from when Jeff was a child and then until Jeff gets older, and their relationship, you know. Obviously, all of this isn't going to be 100% on point or 100% real. I'm aware like there's bits and pieces that, you know, can be made up, or can make, the truth can be pushed a little bit, you know. So I'm aware that this isn't exactly how Jeff's life was or how it went, but a lot of the stuff that happened in this when Jeff was growing up, obviously with the murders, the type of stuff he was doing to people, and then obviously going to prison, obviously all of those events took place. And made up or not, this was such a good show. You know, if this was made up, I still think it would be brilliant. But I think just this being based on an actual person and what this person did was brutal, but was so entertaining, was so interesting, was made so well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm gonna give my overall rating for this, and like I was saying, this is definitely a high one, so far. So I think my overall rating for this has to be an 8 out of 10. I believe it's got about that on IMDb, and I completely agree with it. I completely agree with what people are saying about it in their reviews. Like, yeah, this deserves an Oscar. This deserves just so much recognition. Like, I'm so shocked with how, you know, with this show overall. But yeah, I really like this. I think that there was so many good things about it. That's my overall thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this video, and you're having a very spooky Halloween. I'm gonna be coming out with more scary film reviews. Like I've been saying before, we've got new ones coming out this month, and I will be watching Halloween Ends over the next week, so expect that reviewed very soon. I'm super excited to see what they do with it. I hope it's better than the last one, but yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll see you on the next one.